Hey you guys, this is Sarah Prince with The Sarah Show. I wanted to jump on here really quick and let you know, actually, I have done a podcast show before. 2 years ago, I had a podcast called Breakthrough to Your Beautiful Life, where we talked about ways to increase your awareness so that you can change the life and follow your heart in the way that you truly desire. But life happened and that podcast no longer exists. So I wanted to play it for you here on The Sarah Show as the first 20 episodes or so, just as an added bonus, absolutely free, because a lot of what I talked about on that podcast is very similar to what we will be talking about on this podcast. So please enjoy, and I look forward to sending new episodes to you with The Sarah Show in the weeks to come. To Your Beautiful Life podcast. I am Sarah Prince, here to help you do just that, break through to your beautiful life without sacrificing the things that you love. I'm so excited you're here today because we are going to be talking about how to use journaling correctly and the power within that. So why journaling? Sometimes, growing up as kids, we think, oh, if I've got a journal or a diary, it's something really personal and we write all our deepest, darkest secrets in there, and it's something to be exploited or never shared or just kind of taboo, right? But it's really not that way. When we speak about journaling, I'm talking about documenting what is inside of you, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your experiences, and so much more in a way that is not only affecting you, but others to come after you and everything that you want to experience in this world. So, now, I wanted to cover a few pros and cons because obviously someone who may not be up for this idea of journaling, you may be thinking, oh, Sarah, this takes time. When am I going to find time to sit down and write and write and write? It takes time. And you're right, it does. It does take a little bit of time. Or perhaps you're thinking, it's hard to remember what I want to say, what I want to document, what I want to write down. I know sometimes I've sat down and started wanting to start writing because I have it as part of my day, and I think, I've forgotten what I wanted to share today. I forgot what I felt in the moment, or looking back through my entries, I might find, oh, I didn't write about this thing that just happened, or I didn't write about this experience that impacted me, and it can get a little disjointed, and yeah, it can be hard to remember sometimes. It can be a little discombobulated, especially when it comes to putting pen to paper, and that can be a little frustrating, but I will share some things as we go along to overcome that. And kind of what I touched on in the beginning, if you're thinking, oh, Sarah, isn't journaling kind of lame? I'm not a writer. I don't have the patience. How is this going to benefit me? So, let's talk about some positive things with journaling. First of all, writing in a journal in all of the various ways I'm going to cover in a bit. This is the first legitimate step in creating the life that you want. This is the first tangible evidence that the law of attraction is at play in your life. If you subscribe to the law of attraction or all of the laws of the universe, that's wonderful. It's a terminology most of us recognize. There's so much more than just that single law, but it helps you understand my meaning. We can think of so many things and want and desire so many things, but if we never get them out of our head and put them down onto paper, it's like they still don't exist. Yes, thoughts are things, and they become legitimately real once they're on paper. Think of it kind of like a baby. Obviously, when you first get pregnant, you know there's something in there, you know there's this little being growing inside of you, but you can't feel it, right? You can't fully see it. There's a bit of time that has to go by before you experience, seeing their heartbeat on the monitor at the doctor's office, or actually literally giving birth or feeling them kick. But that doesn't make them any less real. However, just like thoughts that are real, once they are written down and put onto paper, and feelings and emotions, once they are described on paper, it makes them so much more real to a level that I can't fully describe. That's why I compare it to being pregnant and having a baby, because when you're first pregnant for the first time, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm pregnant, but it's like, what? I don't quite get it, I don't quite feel anything, right? But then when you see on the monitor that heartbeat, it just hits you. Or when you first feel that kick in your stomach, it hits you like, oh my gosh, things are happening, right? And that's how it is with putting your thoughts and feelings and experiences down on paper with journaling. It's that first huge legitimate step in creating or making changes that are positive for growth in your life. Another positive about journaling is it is a healthy way to remove toxic things. Now, we don't often think of journaling as a place to vent or get rid of negative emotions, but it can be used for that. You can sit down and say you've got a horrible thing that's been bothering you, eating away at you, and you just have to get it out. Because when we let those feelings just dig inside of us for so long, they fester. And it creates horrible things within us. And they can stick around for lifetimes, years and years. And we don't want this, obviously. So when you journal them out, you certainly don't have to keep what is written, especially if it's so negative you want it just gone. You can journal it out and then tear the paper up or burn it or get rid of it. And it helps you release these things that we should not be holding on to, which is a great simple personal therapy technique that you can do to just let off some steam, as well as documenting the great things that are going on. And that leads me to my last ultimate positivity of why you want to consider journaling, because you're not only releasing negative things, if you choose to do that, you can also use journaling to reinforce anything that's positive. Say you want more of something, say you want to feel more of a feeling you've had with a recent experience, and you just want to anchor it into your life. You want to anchor it into your memory. Journaling is one way that you can do that. For example, when you go on vacation. Say you go on vacation and you're in a fabulous place and you just want to remember how it felt. Journaling and pouring out those emotions on paper is going to capture that, and it's going to help also formulate in your mind through that process, oh, this is something I need to remember. This is something that I should hold on to because it's good for me. And then going back, say you read your journal later, you read about that same vacation in that awesome place where you had such a great time. Those feelings are going to come back. That positivity is going to be recalled by your brain, and you're going to feel it again in your body. And that in turn helps you in your current state and in your future state by just simply reinforcing the positive through journaling. Okay, so hopefully now I've convinced you that there is some awesome good that you can do with journaling, and why I want you to consider making it a habit in your daily life. So, now next I want to talk about some wrong ways to journal and the right ways to journal. And we've kind of touched on a little bit, but I want to help make them clear after we've gone through like the pros and cons of this. The wrong way to journal is kind of like what we did as little kids. And we just wrote down our day to day. Oh, I got up this morning and I got ready for school. I did my hair. I did this at recess. I watched a movie tonight. Those lame little things where you're just documenting your day to day. I'm sure if you have a journal from when you were a kid, I know I do, you can go back and read and it sounds like that. And that's fine. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just there's no positive creation in that. There's no kind of further power that is being created as you do that. Because there's no emotions there, there's no learning experiences, there's no transformational feelings being put on the paper. It's just more like reading a daily schedule, right? It's not necessarily good or bad, but it's not the best use of your time. So we kind of want to avoid that. Obviously, if you've, you know, experienced something and you want to share the step by steps of what happened, obviously, of course, write that down because it pertains to your end lesson or your full experience. But simply just, oh, I did this and that and the other, and yay, I journaled today. That's not what we're going for. Another wrong thing to do when you're journaling is only putting frustrations on paper and only venting or only letting off your steam. Because even though before I said that that was good to help get things out so that they're not festering, if you're constantly journaling only to let things out, then journaling becomes a negative thing, you see? If you're using journaling as an avenue to only get rid of negative stuff and only to write down negative things, it's going to become a negative experience overall. And obviously, we don't want to be focusing more on the negative versus the power we can use with the positive through journaling. So, absolutely okay to get out deeply negative feelings that you feel you cannot share to someone in person, but writing them down and getting rid of it or destroying it to, in essence, show the world I'm above these emotions, I'm above this negativity, I've got it out, I've released it, it's gone, and now come back to documenting the positive, and we'll talk about the positives in a minute. Another wrong way to journal is if you're only doing it like just sporadically and inconsistent. Now, obviously, it may be difficult to pick up, an instant daily habit of journaling everything from the start. This is going to take practice and you're going to get in your own flow and you're going to have kind of a routine. I personally have a daily routine where I write out some short, simple, positive things that I'll mention in a minute, but then about once a week, I'll take more time to go back and focus more on longer journaling about events or experiences or things that have happened in the past week that I want to remember. And then sometimes if something is so intense or memorable and I absolutely do not want to forget it and I feel that huge tug to write it down, I will do it that day, of course. But keeping that consistency helps you naturally work with your spirit and your body to just put these good things down, and then you're going to have more and more to share and more to positively reinforce. And the last thing I'll say about a wrong way to journal is putting it online where everyone can read it. I know years ago when blogs first started, blogs were purely for people to just put down their life and everything so that it's open to the world and then anything and everything can come in against it. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with sharing uplifting experiences online or on social media where you've learned a lesson and you want to put it out there for someone else that maybe has gone through the same thing that you can help. That's wonderful. But I feel like if you are putting every single intimate thing online, it's treating your experiences and your life lessons, it's treating them in a way that's not unique to you. And so I don't recommend putting absolutely all of your journaling online to the public, because it can invite those that just really aren't going to believe in you. And we don't want that. We just want to positively reinforce the good. So that leads me to the right ways to journal. Awesome. So we've talked about doing this at least once a week, and you can do it every day. You can share something you've learned that day. I journal daily about desires that I have that I want to come to play in my life. I journal about things that I've done, successes I've had, like, oh my gosh, I did this today, I feel good about it. I also write down, I journal intentions that I have, like, okay, this is my intention with working on this project today, or this is my intention with this family time today. And whatever I feel prompted to write down, I write it down. And I always focus on the positive. Sometimes I will even take extra time, and if I have bad feelings towards someone or something, I will write down nothing but positive things about that person or that situation, so that I can always keep finding the good. And you want to do this even if it's a sentence or two daily, if you can, but at the very least every week, picking a time to just be in the quiet and journal. A great way to journal is by expressing all the positive emotions you have. If you've had a wonderful experience recently, maybe you had a tear-jerking moment with a friend or family member, or just one of those tender, heartfelt moments with your kids where you saw your child do something, or you just felt that huge rush of success and a big win at work. Whatever it is, put it down. Put it down. Express all your emotions, more so the positive than the negative. You absolutely can put down the negative so you can destroy it and get it out, but keep and reinforce and regularly, habitually focus on the positive with what you're feeling and learning through your life. Another great way to journal is writing down your desires as if you already have them. So, for example, I want to spend some time with my sister. She's about to have her first baby, and I wanted to do like a little sister get together before she's had her baby. Just because I wanted to spend that time with her, and so I will write down in my daily journal my desire to do that as if it's already happened. So, for example, I could say, oh, I'm so glad that I got to spend time with my sister today. It was awesome seeing her, and I'm so happy for her and the new baby that's coming. I'm so glad I had this experience. Because when you write down the things that you want as if you've already had them, your mind and your brain is creating the emotions and the positive imagery and feelings surrounding that to help them come to pass. So that's one thing I love to do. Another right way to journal is express your gratitude really deep for the things that you have and even things that you don't have yet. Gratitude journals, I know you've heard about gratitude journals because they will immediately lift your spirits. They will immediately lift your mood, your vibration, your thoughts, and your feelings. Gratitude always eliminates and helps erase any sort of negativity or bad feelings you're having. So every day I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. And usually they're things that I have, but occasionally I will also write down things I don't have yet. And often I have my children in there, other things, and these aren't just superficial light things like, oh, I'm grateful for my home, I'm grateful for my family, the easy pass it off answers that don't feel significant. I mean deep gratitude for things like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for my son today. I saw him help his brother and show love and share and speak kindly, and I looked him in the eyes and I expressed my appreciation and love for him. I'm so grateful for my son. You see how much more power is in that? You see how much better? I mean, me just saying it gets me all a little choked up and warm inside, right? Because that deep gratitude goes so much farther than just like a quick thanks to anything and everything. Of course, any gratitude is excellent, but the deeper you go, the better it's going to be. Write down awesome things that you've done, even if they're insignificant. I touched on this a minute ago. We need to celebrate the things that we do. And I'm not talking about the centered self-centered idea of, oh my gosh, I'm so great, I did my hair today, I'm not talking about the superficial things that we often think of like in a flick movie. I'm talking about the awesome things that you do as a human being. I got up and I worked out this morning. It was hard, I was tired, I didn't want to do it, but I'm so glad I did. I got up and I worked out, and my body is going to thank me for it. That's awesome, right? One awesome thing I did today, my success for today, is I got the kitchen clean before the kids were in bed. That doesn't happen very often, and I got it done. Awesome. It doesn't matter if it's, cleaning something in your house, or the fact that my awesome thing today is I journaled. It doesn't have to be some miraculous huge goal that you've been working towards for months and months and months. Yes, celebrate that too, but you need to celebrate the everyday things too. Because it's all about the journey. And all there is right now. I want you to celebrate the things you do every day. Heck, if it's brushing your teeth, it's brushing your teeth. Think of that as a fantastic way to celebrate you and the growth that is behind that. And then the last thing I want you to remember about journaling is go back and read things. You'll find miracles in the pages of your journal. You'll go back and you'll read things that have come to pass in your life that you never thought possible, but you forgot about it. Like you can go back and read about something you wanted or something you were feeling and you just wish you could get through it, and then you forget about it, right? Because you've put it in your journal, and then months or years go by and that problem has solved itself, or the solution came. And when you go back and read what you've written, you will see that miracles are happening in your life every single day. Every single day. But we can't connect. Steve Jobs says, what did he say? You can only connect the dots looking backwards. It's proof that miracles are happening in your life when you go back and you read your journal. As if also making sure that you've written in it the ways we've talked about today. So I encourage you to use journaling as part of your growth, as part of your daily habits and rituals to become a better person, because it will help you break through to that beautiful life that you desire. So, are you going to pick up that journal tonight? I hope so. I have one right by my bed that's always there. And, go all out with this. Have fun, and I would love to hear back from you on how you've implemented this, or if you've been doing it for so long and you want to tweak it and it's how it's improved for you or whatnot. So I'd love to hear back, and yes, feel free to leave me a comment. And as always, I would like to invite you to the Breakthrough to You Beautiful Life Facebook group. It's completely free. We share awesome experiences in there, and you are welcome to go to sarahbethprince.com/group. Check that out, and I will let you in right away. I would love to have you so that we can talk about more of the things like this that you find on the podcast, and more personal videos and trainings and things like that I do inside there for all of the members. And again, if you'd enjoyed this podcast, you want to share it with anyone, please subscribe, rate, and review. I'd love to have you share this with a friend or a loved one, because if it's helped make a difference for you, please let me know and share it with someone that you love too. Awesome. I will talk to you soon. Have a great